I'm online there. And also let me first check internally also. Guys, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear my voice. Just say hello, hello on the Teams. And if you're from YouTube, please say hello. Yes, you can hear me. Let me get confirmation from my team out there. Okay. Team, can you confirm me if I'm audible? Yes. Okay, we are live on YouTube. Okay. So very quickly, guys, what is the syllabus first thing? Point number one, right? This Azure DevOps, first thing, this whole Azure DevOps is part of the bigger training. We have started one mega training in Questpond, right? So this was almost we are planning for 7 months. I think almost we have completed 5 months, if I'm not wrong, almost. But now in the coming up 6 sessions, means today's, so this session happens every time Saturday to Sunday, right? Saturday, Sunday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. India time it happens, right? So the coming up 6 sessions, Saturday 1 hour, Sunday 1 hour, Saturday 1 hour, Sunday 1 hour, and Saturday 1 hour, Sunday 1 hour, we are dedicating to Azure DevOps. So recently the DevOps trend has picked up, right? So today is the first session, right? And then tomorrow we'll again do 1 hour, then again 1 hour, again 1 hour. So this way we'll have 6 sessions, okay? So guys, let us get started. And very quickly, for people who are logged in from YouTube, so we have 6 sessions. Must be we can also have 8 sessions. Sometimes what happens is uh, people who are internally taking the training, they very well know. Sometimes, we take the training and then suddenly someone says, okay, why don't you go and put DevOps Sec? If you put DevOps Sec, then 1 more hour increases, right? So I keep that flexibility of 1 or 2 hours also extra, right? So it is possible that that 6 can become 8 hours also, right? But whatever it is, right? But this is the basic agenda which I am planning, right? Very quickly for people who are logged in from YouTube, right? So today's session, I'm doing it free, right? Tomorrow's session also I will do for free for people who will share my Azure DevOps link. Remember, we have a Azure DevOps online free YouTube video. It is out there on the chat. My team will put it, right. If you go and if you share that video, right, tomorrow's session also I will give you free, right. And for internal people, you don't have to worry. I would suggest that first thing, we already have a detailed Azure syllabus, right. So very quickly, if you have ever visited the internal Azure DevOps training, we have all these labs, right. What we have out there, almost, if I'm not wrong, it is almost 11 to 12 hours of training we have out there, right? So you can attend that. And remember that the coming 6, 7 hours, 8 hours, we are already doing it live as well, right? So guys, let us get started. What is this DevOps, right? This DevOps actually is formed by two words, dev and ops. So that is a developer and operations, or I'll say development and operations. If you look at, when you talk about building any product, right, at least you will need two people. One is the developer, right, who will develop the software. The other one is the operations team who will take that software, go to the end user and make it live to the end user, train the end user, right? So what DevOps says, right? This DevOps, many people think that this DevOps is some technology, or many developers think that DevOps, we need to do automate a CI, CD, right? And all that. The CI, CD and this DevOps and this pipeline, all whatever these words, right? They have come later on. But the initially when DevOps started, right, it was more of a philosophical change, or it was more of a psychological change in the organization, where they were saying that this development team and operation team should work together. I don't know if you have ever worked with some non-IT companies out there or product-based companies, right? Always there is a fight going on. I mean, like the developer team ka head hi alag hota hai, and the operation team head is different. And they keep fighting on the mail. Developer will say that I send him the build. Operation says that your build crashed. So the goal, this DevOps word, was coined, saying that, rather than fighting among yourself, why don't both the teams sit together, work together, and see that the product goes live, right? So that is what the DevOps teams here, right? That's what the DevOps says. And so again, very quickly, just to give you an idea, I have to change my, sorry. Right. Guys, I'll take up the questions at the last, right? So don't worry. Okay, I'm flipping between my, I hope my pen is working. Okay. So in this DevOps team, so look at this. So where are we actually coming from, right? So must be I should take up a, fine, I'll do it here. Control Z. Okay. So look at that, how the DevOps team actually, how the whole cycle works out development, right? So first, we have a requirement which we get, right? This requirement, for this requirement, we have a technical document we write, right? After that, we do our execution, our coding thing, and etc. And then we do some testing, whatever system testing, this testing, that testing, right? And finally, we give this build to the end user, or I'll say rather to the operations team, right? So operation team means you will actually put it in some UAT must be, right? Over here. So when the testing finishes, this goes to the UAT, and then the operation team actually trains them, looks at the issues, right? And then he goes live, right? This is overall the cycle. I know that in between you can have unit testing and this and that. You can have security testing. I will not go into that. But what I'm saying is that the developer team does some task and the operation team does some task, right? Now, where the problem is, right? The problem is that as soon as he finishes the testing, the development team finishes the testing, they give the build, let us say, right? The build goes automatically or however, right? Through a drop folder or whatever. But they don't give any kind of documentation. They expect that the operation team will make it live and so on. And the operation team probably does not understand IIS, or probably they don't understand something, right? Or some of the features they have created, they don't know about it, right? So what happens is there is a gap over here, right? So what DevOps says is that the first thing is the development team should actually help the operation team, right? Saying that, okay, don't worry, I will give you a document. I will help you out, right? I will train you, right? So it is more of a understanding, rather than putting up a blame game. Also, in the operations also, what happens is, when there is some issue out here, right? Operations wala ise hawa pe chhod deta hai. Bolta this system has crashed. It is a problem of the development team, right? And whatever error happens out there, they don't give that feedback officially to the development team. When I say officially to the development team means they don't actually give the input in the task. So if some issue happens over here, right? And if the operation team goes and raises a ticket and says that, see, like I got a printer issue, right? Your application crashed out here, then this whole thing works, right? So you can see this 8 number symbol, which you will always see when you see a DevOps sign out there, you'll always see this 8 thing, right? What this 8 number says out is that the development team and the operation team should work together. They should work in tangent, into hand to hand, and so on. And that's what the DevOps is. Now, nowadays, kya ho gaya ki DevOps, matlab it is a position and so on. Fine. Chalo, we agree to that, right? But remember, initially when the DevOps was coined, right, it was coined from the perspective that the developer and the operation team should sit together. If you go to any of the DevOps conferences, you will hear, some of these verbs and phrases like, if the dev and the dev goes for a lunch, then your project is not working. If the ops and the ops, go for a tea, right? That means your DevOps is not working, right? So it means it's like a phrase out there, right? So the point is that both of the teams should work together. So this is the first phase. So first phase, I can say that if you want to embrace DevOps in your company, it is more of a philosophical, and not philosophical, but more of a psychological change, or more of a, it should become more of an organizational change, saying that the operation team is our part and the operation should feel that DevOps team is our part, right? I will rather say that, if possible, you should only make one head, because operation ka head alag hai, wo fight kar raha hai mail pe, and then developer ka head usko CC mein dal raha hai. I don't know, those kind of things happen, right? So it is better that if you make just one head out there and say that both of them are same. So this is the first step, right? But now the second step is, all this story can become more better if you have automation also in place. Automation means, how about, like, okay, so the requirement happens, this happens, and this happens, the testing happens, right? And after that, is it possible that we can make this build automated? Hai na? Matlab ki, then we don't have to, we can make this build automated, and also must be till the UAT. It goes and live and goes into IIS. It goes into the web server, sub build ho gaya. All the unit testing also works and everything, right? So if this whole thing we can automate at least till here, because this you can automate, this one also you can automate, but that is too much, right? But at least this much, as soon as he checks in the code and he says we are done, how about going and creating a build, sending that build out here and making it live in your UAT server, right? And then the operation team can manually take from there, talk with the user, right? And that's what the next thing is. And that's what, where we talk about automation part. So remember, our first part is, it's more of a organizational change, right? It's more of a behavioral change. It is more of a change, which is more philosophical, or I don't know, psychological, whatever you want to say, right? And second one is, we need to take up a tool out here which can help us to do this automation. Now, for creating this automation, right, there are a lot of tools out there, right? like Ansible and, many other tools are out there. But today our topic is around Azure DevOps. So we'll see that what has Azure given us to do this automation of the build, right? Okay. Did we get this, guys? I hope that everybody has understood this whole thing. I will come to questions. Let me first just go and show some demos out here, and then I will come to questions, right? So this 8 diagram, whenever you are learning DevOps, right? Any tool you are doing out there, anything, any tool of DevOps you're doing, this 8 diagram you should be able to map to that tool. Means, for example, let us look at Azure DevOps. So first thing for Azure DevOps, this is my Azure DevOps here, dev.azure.com. What you can also do is, first thing, Azure DevOps is free. Your build, etc., your checking, the repository and all is free. So what you can do is that by using a simple Gmail account, oh, again, I have to shift my keyboard. This is my problem. I'm sorry, right? So there is some issue of my port here. I also was trying to fix. So the first thing is just go to Google out there and this dev.azure, or must be you can just go to dev.azure also, right? Dev.azure, right? So this is the portal out there, right? If you go to dev.azure, like how you open up a Gmail account or a Yahoo account, right? You can just go out there to the DevOps out here and you can say start for free, right? So you can just say start for free out here, create account, right? So you can see create one account. You don't have to give a Microsoft ID out here. You can also try to give an account which is Gmail account also out here, right? So you can say create one and go ahead, right? In case you are not able to follow this creation of this account, you can see my video, right? People who are from internal, you can see our internal videos, but people who are from YouTube, you can go and see the YouTube video, which is the free one, 1 hour one. You can see that how I've created the account, right? In this class, I will not talk about how to create the account because it is pretty straightforward. You go there, you get a code, you put the code, you get the access, right? And you get a URL, something like this. For example, when I opened my account, I got a URL out here, dev.azure.com, Questpond interview question, very bad name it is, right? So if you let's say if your account is company one, then you will get dev.azure.com, company one, right? Or whatever is your company name will come out here, right? So that is the URL you will get. Great, right? Now, again, coming back, let us talk about mapping that 8 diagram. So, okay, once you get the account, you will log in and this is what you will see. So this is pretty much what you will get, right? Now, let us talk about, that 8 diagram which we talked about. The code, the build, the test, unit test, whatever it is, right? Go live, again, entering the ticket, right? And so on, right? So how do we go and map it? So let us go and map now with Azure DevOps. So what I'm doing out here, I am putting this small notepad out here and this small notepad. And what I will do is, so at the left-hand side, you can see all the menus, what are there of the Azure DevOps, right? And at the right-hand side, I've kept an empty screen, so that we can map that 8 diagram, right? So point number 1. Pehla kya karna hai? Pehla, first, definitely you will go and you will check in your code, right? So to check in the code, so I'll just put it out here. So first thing is you will need to have some kind of a repository. Now this repository can be GitHub, it can be Azure DevOps, it can be GitLab, right? So you can see that there is a repository out here. So first thing, you will need a repository. After that, you will go and you will write the code. You will do an architecture document or something, right? I will not go into now small step, architecture, higher level architecture, lower level. Let me not go into that, right? But you will write some architecture document or something. Then you will start executing it or coding that thing, right? After that, you would like to run your unit test case, right? After that, you would like to go and make it live. So this is, I'll just put it as UAT, right? And then pretty much the operation team will train them and all that, right? And then we will go live out here, right? So this is how that diagram is, right? We just talked about. Remember, now you can have small steps in between. As per your organization, you can have a security testing in between and so on. So that is there. But this is pretty much the basic steps we will have, right? So now first thing, for checking in the code, you can see we have the Azure repositories. I'm trying to map, I'm trying to map this 8 diagram to Azure DevOps. So you have the Azure repositories out here, right? Second, first thing, this is the requirement, right? Requirement and architecture. I'm sorry, what did I do? So I'm sorry. So this requirement and architecture means what? Basically you will put the requirement, you will create a task, right? So for that we have the boards. I'm sorry. So we have the boards out here where you can go, you can write the requirement, you can write your user story, you can do it and so on. Second is, then after that, you would like to have the repositories, right? Where you would like to check in the code and start coding. So this is what that repository is, where you will check in the code, you will execute it and so on, right? After that, from here, once you check in the code, once you execute and you check in the code, right? You would like now, I talked about the automation. Remember, I said that first is the philosophy and the second one is the automation, right? So over here, right from here to here, I don't know how to draw this from here to this going to the UAT. Can we automate this one? This is because here I'm like, it does not look so simple. You have unit testing, then you have to build the project, you have to go and create a RAR file, then you have to go and make it live into IIS. So this thing, I will now I'm creating a pipe out here. Very bad, I'm bad in diagrams, right? So this pipe which I'm creating out here, you would like to go and build a pipeline. You would like to go and build a pipeline saying you will first go and do a get latest from the repository. Now it is .NET, you will do whatever VS build. If it is Angular, you will do ng build. If it is React, you will do whatever, right? So you will go and you will do the build. Then after that, you would like to take that artifact, that RAR file. You would like to go to IIS, right? And you would like to say, okay, create a virtual directory, and then you would like to paste it out there. So many steps are involved, right? That whole thing you will build inside this pipeline. You can see this word here, pipeline, right? So this is where you have the pipeline. Also, there is an intermediate step as well, right? I will, okay, so this is the pipeline out here. So I will, now let's not go into that, what each steps are, each steps which could change like, right? So that's what the pipeline is. So remember, this is the boards, this is the repositories, this is the pipeline for building the automation, right? And finally, when you create a build, you would like to go and throw that RAR file, or you would like to throw that whole build into somewhere, right? Into some directory. And that is termed as an artifact. Now remember that artifact does not mean a code build. सिर्फ code build नहीं होता है इसमें. It can have a code build also. It will have some documentation also. It will have some text file also saying that, how to go and use this DLLs and how to go and use the setup and so on. So at the end of the day, this whole pipeline should give out an artifact for the operations team, to read, to see, and how to do it, right? So pretty much that's what it is, right? So remember, boards for creating your tasks, creating your user stories, repositories to check in, pipeline to go and write your automation. And this is where the majority thing you are. Remember, whenever you are working with DevOps, right? Pipeline is the heart of it. Or sub easy. A lot of people think, Azure DevOps means creating a task, assigning that task to someone, and tell me on the chat of YouTube, and also here also internally, that how many people think that in their organization doing something on that Azure boards is Azure DevOps. Azure boards is not Azure DevOps. It is just assigning tasks, or must be project planning. I don't know what to say that, right? But many people think that ki Azure boards mein kaam kiya to DevOps programmer ho gaya main, right? The main heart of Azure DevOps is this pipeline. I repeat that. The main heart of Azure DevOps is the pipeline. If you know how to create the pipeline, that means you are done with it, right? Okay, so that is one thing. Now, guys, first let me complete everything. I'll come to questions. I can see that. Let me just check out, guys. Am I audible? Let me know, team out there. Am I audible? I'll just, yes. Questpond support. Am I audible? Yes. Let me just see. Yeah. Okay. And I hope over here also in Teams, can you guys put down on the chat? I'm audible and you are understanding, right? So that कभी-कभी internet गायब हो जाता है बीच में से, right? Mumbai, it is raining very heavily here. So yeah. Okay. Fine. So there also I can see. Fine. Okay, chalo. Now, let us see out here. So first thing what I've done, remember guys, today, my goal is to make you understand all the important pillars of Azure DevOps. Today I will do the demo, but tomorrow we'll be having a very big demo. Tomorrow, one of our friends, Manisha, she will be doing the demo. I'll be explaining it. So that demo, wherein we will actually create an ASP.NET Core application, we will check in that code. फिर उसको हम लोग build करेंगे YAML में, then we will go and make it live into IIS, right? So it will be a very, very big demo tomorrow, right? So today my goal is to make you understand these menus out here, what they are doing and so on, right? Okay. So what I've done out here, so first thing in the repository, abhi ke liye in the repository, tomorrow we'll be doing a demo of how to check in into this repository. Huh? I have uploaded a simple MVC core application, very simple MVC core application, basic one. You can see from the name itself, web application 2 bola to. I just say next, next, next. I created and I checked in, right, into this thing, right? So this is where my code base is. Remember, this can be Java also, this can be Python also. It can be any kind of code base. I have chosen C# because most of my students are in C# and ASP.NET. That's why I've chosen it. Also, you can see I have put a small unit test out here. We will see this example later on, right? So first point, you have this code checked in. You have created a task. We'll do that tomorrow, right? I want to first focus on the pipeline because as I've said, that heart is the pipeline. So you can see this is the pipeline out here. This is the pipeline out here, right? So here is the code. This is what we want to build and automate, right? And here is the pipeline. So let me go and create a new pipeline. Remember, tomorrow, again, I repeat, in case how to check in the code, tomorrow we will do the whole demo. Today, I want to just make sure that I focus some time on pipeline and YAML, right? So here is the pipeline. So I'll go and say, write the pipeline. So I'll say new pipeline. It's pretty much a very nice wizard out here. It says, where is your source code? Now, remember that in Azure, your source code can be in GitHub also. Your source code can be in, it can be an older Visual Source Safe also, in Subversion also, in Bitbucket and GitLab and all, right? So at this moment, my code is in Azure repos. My code is in Azure repos. So I'm going to go and click on Azure repos out here, right? And yes, my project is MVC project. Remember, this MVC project is this one, right? Okay. So I'll go out here to my pipeline. I will just create it, right? So I'll say new Azure repository. I'll say take this code base from here. Now you can see it gives you nice templates out here saying that, do you want to build the old ASP.NET or do you want to build the new ASP.NET core? You can see build ASP.NET projects or build the ASP.NET core or build your old WPF and so on also, right? So I'll say my project is ASP.NET core. And what he does is he actually gives you a nice YAML file out here. You can see this is the YAML file, right? This is the YAML file, and this is where we have to spend a lot of our time, right? I'm going to go and minimize this out here. So this is YAML. YAML stands for yet another markup language, or you can say, so yeah, yet another markup language. Hang on, what happened to my, I want to zoom. Okay, zoom it in, right? Okay. So you can see here, this is the YAML file here. I think my pen is still working. Okay, good. Okay, fine. So this is the YAML out here. Let us try to understand what is this YAML, right? Now think about it. So we want to build the pipeline. We want someone to create the pipeline. The first thing which developers will think is that, are ye YAML JSON mein kyun nahi hai? Why this is not in JSON? Why this is in not in XML? Why this is in YAML? This YAML language, right? It is a language which anybody can understand. It is a language like writing English, actually, right? Now think about it. Whoever creates the pipeline, the goal of Azure DevOps was, was that we should give a language which is so easy that anybody can understand that language and he can create the pipeline. Matlab koi administrator hoga who does not know XML, or let us say, must be there is, I'll not say end user is too much, but let us say there is, some techie user out there who understands certain things, right? So for those users also, power users, power users means who know a little bit technical, can they go and create the pipeline? So the goal of creating this in YAML was to make it very simple so that even administrator or even a little bit of smart techie guy can do it. He does not have to know programming. That's what the goal was. So if you look at YAML, in YAML is first thing space indented. It's an indented language, right? Means what? In YAML, let us say, if you want to say, okay, I want to say that first thing, YAML is a name value pair. It's a name and a value, right? So for example, I can say here name colon Shiv. This is the most simplest YAML which I've written, name and a value, right? Now think about it. If I tell someone to write in JSON, chalu karega, curly bracket, comma, or XML wala to kahin aur chale jata, right? This, that, right? So this one looks very simple, isn't it? Anybody can write it. this one colon shiv, right? Now let us say it is a collection, right? Let us say I say, no, I have like servers and I have their IP addresses. Okay, so then that means a collection. So it will be like servers, right? And you want to say IP address, right? Then this becomes a collection. So for collection, it is a hyphen. Look at here, look at this YAML. Like, look at the first thing, name and shiv, solution and the name, colon, build platform, any CPU. Getting it? Image is Windows latest. So this is a name value pair. But if it's a collection, then you have to start using hyphen. So I'll say, okay, first IP address 192.168.8. Second IP address, something, right? Like, so for example, if I have fruits, okay, fruits. Okay, fruits. So first one. So if it is a list, then you have to use a hyphen. If it is a list, then you have to use a hyphen. So like fruits, mango, second one is something, right? So point number one, it is a name value pair. Second, collections are done by using hyphens. The third important thing is it is indented. It is not space in it. It is not. I'll not. Yeah, it is space indented. Space indented means not tab indented. Apna Shisha Visual Studio people have that habit, right? Tab, tab, tab. No, not that tab. Space. Very pure space. Space means, for example, this is variables, right? And inside the variables you have solution. Now you can see there is a space out here, right? How you have in Python, right? It's you where Python is like tab indented, right? But here you can see this is space out here, which says that this is the parent and these are the child, right? For example, you can see this is here steps and steps have task. You can see out here. I'll just this one. Oh my God, my computer. If you see here, look at this. I'll just zoom this. Look at this specifically. Over here, if you see, this is steps and steps as task. So how usko kaisa likha hai usne? Steps colon, right? Then a space. Yahan pe look at this. I mean, I hope you can see the small thin line out here. Or yahan pe hyphen aaya. So a space. If you write it here, then it will give you an error. Please understand, right? So yahan pe there is a space, and then you will say a task. And task can have something else. And then this can have something else, right? So remember certain things. It is a name value pair. Second, collections are by using hyphens. Third, it is space indented. अगर आपको इतना तीन चीज पता होगा ना, enough, for Azure DevOps pipeline, right? Whatever more we need, we'll talk later, right? So, so this is out here now. So, for example, you can see now they have given some ready-made template code out here, right? When we created this, what I will do is let me do like this. Let me go and delete all this. Yes, sir. थोड़ा delete कर देता हूँ. मेरा keyboard so bad. एक तो I'm on YouTube live and doing all this nonsense, right? It looks so horrible. Fine. I hope that it's typical developer, right? They never come prepared. So ठीक है. So यहाँ पे this is out here. So let us try to understand. यहाँ पे let me what I'll do is I'll remove all this noise from here. ठीक है? और इसको थोड़ा सा easy कर देता हूँ मैं. Let me. ठीक है. Right? Let us see this. ये भी variables भी निकाल दूँ. We'll create this template later on. Right? Now, let us understand this. What I've done, I have just made this YAML very, very simple out here, right? So I've just removed some unnecessary thing, okay? You can see here, okay, when should this YAML pipeline start? This YAML pipeline should start as soon as I checked in into the master branch. So you can see there is a trigger saying if you check in into the master branch. In case you want to check in into some another branch, then you have to give the branch name out here, right? Second, so this YAML will have series of things, right? For example, it will first do a new get, it will do a get latest, it will do a VS build, it will do this, it will do that, right? That means we need a machine. We need some machine out here. We need some CPU power out here. We need some hard disk, like, because when you're saying you are doing a build, that means you will have a machine. You will do a get latest, you will do a build, right? And that is done by using something called as agents. You can see here, it is saying from the pool, go and take the Windows operating system latest image. And inside that, go and run this pipeline, right? So what I'm trying to say out here, one more important word I'm introducing out here called as agents. Agents are nothing but, you can think about, they are computers, they are small computers inside which your build will run. So you have your build, right? So ye aapka build hai. So in this build, you will say, first, I will do a get latest. Then what I will do a build. Then what I will do, I will run my unit test case. Then what I will do, I will go and create an IaaS virtual directory. Then I will go and execute my SQL. So this is your pipeline. But a pipeline, and this all you write in YAML. You will write using YAML, right? Remember, just very quickly, I have used the full form of YAML. I have set yet another markup language. Lekin it is not the real thing. That this yet another markup language is like teasing. So if you know what is the real now current full form of YAML, please put down on the chat, or in case people who are from internal, you can put down on this, right? This yet another markup language was what is it? Tongue and a cheek, chidane wala cheez, right? Because YAML came on during the phase of HTML and HGML and XML. तो इन्होंने चिढ़ाने के लिए बोल दिया. So they said, what is this YAML? HTML people asked, right? क्या है भाई? नया language. This is yet another markup language, but this is not a markup language. This is the name, value, space, indented, simple language which anybody can do, right? So if you know the full form of the current YAML ka full form acronym, please put down, right? Chalo. So this whole pipeline you will write in the YAML, and this whole YAML will run inside that agent. And this agent is this one, Windows latest, right? Now, this agent, either you can make your computer as your agent, right? If you don't have money, you can, if you want to do it free, as I've said, right? The Azure DevOps is free, right? So you can either make your machine as your agent, or what you can do is you can take it from Azure. So Azure, there are pool of machines out there. At this moment, I'm using Azure. Tomorrow, we will do the demo of how to create your own agent. So tomorrow's demo would be very interesting, right? Manisha will be doing it. I'll be explaining it. But abhi ke liye, as I'm explaining the basic, this one is going to take from the Azure. So mine is a paid account. So from there, he will take up a pool from that and he will do this, right? So where you can go and find this machine, you can go and find this machine in your project settings. Look at this. There is a project setting. So yahan pe, if you go in that, you will go and you will see that there is an agent pool. So in this, you can go and you can create your own agent and so on. But there are ready-made agents given by Azure. So these are the agents which are given. So you can see. So and every agent out here tells you that, for example, it can be a Linux machine, it can be a Windows machine. For example, ये job जो अभी run हुआ है, I think this job did not run. You can see it is saying Windows latest, but sometimes some of my job has also ran in Ubuntu, where latest means latest version wala operating system. Okay. So in case you want a specific window, sometimes let us say you are saying, I am building VB6 application, purane zamane ka. That means you need a machine which is little bit old operating system, right? So you can also choose your operating system. So you can see it can take Ubuntu, it can take Windows. At least to my best knowledge, they only have Windows and Ubuntu. You can see I have also sometimes taken up a Windows 2019 machine as well out here. You can see why, because I wanted to do some server builds out. So you can choose your machine. नहीं तो क्या अपना खुद का machine बनाओ. So we'll see that tomorrow, right? So from this pool, this is a pool. Remember, these are the pools of agents which are running. All of them are online. You can see they have given the name as Azure Pipeline 10, 11, 12. शायद मुझे 10 agent दिया है, right? I also have a hosted agent. I don't know मेरा, what is this? Fine. So there are a lot of machines out there. So from this pool, I'm saying take the Windows latest. If I say that from this pool, take the Ubuntu latest, to Ubuntu latest lega. Remember, so some of this machine can be Ubuntu, some of this machine can be latest Windows, right? So I've taken the Windows one, right? Microsoft ka fan enemy, so taken the Windows one, right? Okay. After that, you will say, okay, so this whole pipeline will run in that agent, right? So in that agent, what he has to do? What he has to do? So these are the steps. Steps is a reserved keyword. Task is a reserved keyword in pipeline. Trigger is a reserved keyword. Pool is a reserved keyword. Please understand. So यहाँ पे I'm saying, so there is a step and there is a task. Now, so there are steps and tasks. For now, just remember this. There are steps and tasks. Please note, if you don't know how to write pipeline, then you are not doing DevOps. Please understand, right? So understand the structure. So there are steps and there are tasks. Now there are two kinds of steps, I will say. One kind of step is the task and another kind of step is the script. So अब एक switch बनाना पड़ेगा. This okay. So one is the task and another one is the script, right? A script, or you can say bash. I don't know what you want to say. This script out here again. Script means if you see like this task means what, these are things, which are given by Azure DevOps. For example, if you want to go and do a NuGet, for example, when you do a build, the first thing what you have to do, you have to go and do a NuGet, so that in that project, whatever components are there, they will come inside the agent, right? So those ready-made tasks are over here. So you can see these are the ready-made tasks. For example, you want to go and archive a file, you want to go and do this, right? So these are ready-made tasks which are given by uh, Azure team, a DevOps team. So for example, I can say here, let us say I want to archive a file, right? You can see I can archive a file and I can say add out here to ISARJAG, right? So this is the ready-made task given by Azure team, right? So one is you have a ready-made task, theek hai, but then you will say no, but then there are some of my own thing, for example, ng build, or let us say I want to do a dir, I want to do a delete, I want to go and run some command line. If you see most of the most of the Angular applications and React applications, right, and more, even like .NET also, right, they all have a command line, right? So for command line is where you have the script, right? The script out here, I can go and I can say inside the script, let us say, let me run a script here called as echo hello. Echo, and I want to say hello, right? I mean, echo means in the command prompt, remember, you can always do an echo like this. Oh gosh. This is so funny, right? So if you say echo, it just echoes back. You say hello and it will just echo hello, right? So I've just put some task out here. Definitely, you will put ng build, you will put ng serve, or you will do something like change the directory, right? So there are two kinds of steps. One is the task, which is given ready-made by Azure DevOps, and another one is a script wherein you can go and you can put any command. And for now, what I'll do, I'll remove this task, right? So look at this. This is a very, very simple Azure DevOps pipeline. And remember, you can use this hide and show it, right? And also what they have done is, if you make a mistake out here, for example, if you go and if you do this indentation like this, it will start showing some red wriggles out here. Wo bolega, bhai, I cannot read this, something is there. So remember, space, barabar hai, right? And remember, whenever you are writing complicated YAML, and we'll be doing that tomorrow when Manisha will write a very complicated YAML, one trick I will tell you what you should do is you should follow this line out here. You can see there's a line out here, indentation line. Halka sa line hai, because whenever now, like, my age is almost 50 plus 50, I'm nearing to 55. Hota kya hai na, this, sometimes I write something out here and then I don't come to know where I am, right? And this is not Visual Studio, right? In Visual Studio, you get everything to see. So I think you can write a YAML in VS Code, but that whatever is that plugin, it is horrible. It does not work, right? So your best friend is this online thing only. So, but what you can do, small things, you can see this small line out here. So yahan se this is the first indent. Then you can see the second indent is over here, this small line out here. So must be, you can follow this lines out there, to see that you are on the right indentation or not. Okay? Chalo. Very simple YAML I have. इसमें कुछ भी नहीं है. I'm saying that I don't even have to write a trigger, right? I can remove this also. I'm just saying, go and run on hello world DevOps, right? By using this VM image, right? So I'll just say save and run this. So I'll say save and run. So once you say save and run, this will create an YAML file. That YAML file is there, and it will create a job. So you can see here, this is the job which is running out here. So the first thing you will see that he will try to acquire an agent from the cloud. You can see out here, I'll just try to maximize this as soon as it is running. It is the first thing it will do. It will try to get an agent, right? You can see as the tasks are running out here. So it gets an agent from, and it gets an image now, image Windows latest, right? And in that it goes, now remember, it goes and it checks out the MVC project. Please note, it has gone and checked out the MVC project. Why? Because मैंने उसको पर master दिया था, right? And you can see your command line, CMD line, this command line. And if I go and if I see this, that is, if you go and see your echo world out here, your hello world. So it has gone here. It has ran this echo, right? Echo hello world. And here you can see hello world DevOps, right? Now, definitely this task does not do anything great as such, but I hope that you understand that how you can write a pipeline, right? So, and then you have some other steps here after the job, what happened, and some report and so on, right? but definitely our main task was this echo, right? And this pipeline, this whatever you have written out here. So this pipeline, whatever you have written, one of the things, what happens is initially when you're in Azure DevOps, right, you sometimes you get confused. Like for example, now you go here, you will see these are the runs. And look at the name MVC project 65, very bad name I've given, right? If I go and click on this, then say, edit kidhar. So that you will take some time to get habituated. You can say, acha, edit idhar. Acha, okay, edit is there. Oh, like where should I go and change the name? Where should I go and change the name? Ye idhar hai, kahan gaya edit? Acha, yahan pe. So you have to go here and you have to go to settings, I think. Kahan gaya? How do you go and change the name? Yeah, fine. Ho gaya Popat, right? So basically, okay. Uh, Okay, somewhere you can go and change the name here. What I'm saying is that, this is one problem out, which you will run into. So sad it is. This is the pipeline setting. I don't want to go here. Uh, who made this UI? Okay, somebody finds it out. Okay, edit से इधर आ गया वापस, right? अरे कहाँ तो भी है, it goes and it goes change the name. So what I'm saying is that, at some moment of time you will find it where to go and hunt that, but once you get habituated, you will love it, right? So remember this, इसको छोटा करो, इसको बड़ा करो, right? And remember, whenever you write this pipeline, now you have written this pipeline gets checked in into your repository. Very important. You can see now this Azure pipeline has got checked in into my repository automatically. No problem in it, right? So whenever you write a pipeline out here, it gets checked in out there. Acha, ठीक है. Chalo, good. Very nice. So we have a pipeline. We have an agent. Inside the agent, the pipeline runs. In the pipeline, we have two kinds of steps. So there are two kinds of steps. One is a script. And another one is a task, which you get from here, right? Very good, right? Acha. Now what I'll do is I'll go and I will create a new pipeline. And let us go and build that project. जैसा है वैसा build करते हो project, right? So I'll say a new pipeline out here, right? So that was the basic explanation of YAML. I'll come to questions, guys. I'll come to questions. So I'll just select this Azure repository. I will select MVC project. I will say ASP.NET Core, and there it is. Now, if you look at the pipeline, if you try to look at the pipeline, look at the task. First thing, what you do as a developer, if you are in a machine, if you want to do a build, first thing you will go and you will install NuGet. You need to have NuGet to do to get the dependencies of the application, right? In case of Java, it will be Maven or whatever, right? So this is first, you will install NuGet into that agent. That agent is a machine. After that, you will go and you will say restore the solution. Look at it. After that, you will go and use the VS build. So you will take the solution file and build I'm just giving you the overall steps. We'll go into in detail later on. After that, you would like to go and do a test. I'll say, no, I don't want to do a test. Ye task nikal, right? So in short, what here we are doing is, if I just try to minimize all my tasks out here, very easy. In the machine, you will install NuGet. For example, machine means agent. Again, I'm repeating. If you are doing Angular, then you have to install Node first. Think about it. You have to install Node. You have to do an npm install, right? So think about that. What you will do manually, that you have to put the task out here, right? So you will do a NuGet install. Then you will do a get latest by using NuGet, and then you will do a build. Now, when this build happens, yahan pe, right? So I'll just go and run this. Chalo, kal dikhte hain apan. Thoda 15 minute I'll take up questions, So if I go and do a build, it will now go again the same thing. It will acquire the agent from the cloud. It will then go and install the NuGet. It will then go and do a get latest, get the dependencies of the NuGet, right? After that, it will go and it will do a VS build, and then that does the build out, right? So there you can see the steps are executing. It will take some time and some small things out here. Whenever you are in your pipeline, if you see something is completed, it will be green like this. If you see something is red, that means there is an error. And if you see something is happening now, you will see this kind of a build, right? So guys, this was a very, very basic part of Azure DevOps, right? A basic structure of Azure DevOps, right? So remember, to create a task, you will come here. We'll do that tomorrow. To check in the code, you will go to repository. To write your pipeline, you will go to pipeline, right? And then the agents, you will see the agents over here in the settings. You will see the agents over here, right? So just trying to create a diagram of what this whole Azure DevOps is, right? I'm like, let me just try to create a diagram out here that whatever we have learned, and then I will go for the questions, right? So just if I try to create a diagram out here, कि कैसा सब कुछ चल रहा है, ठीक है? So look at it. This is how it is, and then this diagram will be the base on which we will, which you can refer, right? Further. Remember again, people who are from YouTube, right? If you go and if you share my Azure DevOps training, right? The Azure DevOps video which we have, कल का क्लास भी मैं आपको फ्री दूंगा. And internal people don't worry, बोलता है फ्री कितना दे रहा है, right? Internal people, we all know, right? How much we are doing internally. So next Saturday, Sunday, DevOps will be there. उसके बाद भी next Saturday, Sunday, DevOps will be there. I don't know, the must be, it can be 6 hours also more, 8 hours also, because I'm thinking of doing parallel development, parallel deployment, और बहुत कुछ सोचा है मैंने, Ansible and all that, right? So must be, we'll take it. So let's create a diagram. So basically, first thing, what happens? So we said, okay, where is our first, to create a task to do the requirements, you will put it into the boards. Then you will check in the repository, you will do the coding. अब मैं architecture बीच में नहीं डाल रहा हूँ, guys. We can see that later on. So architecture, to do the coding and execution, you will use these repositories, right? Right. Second, from here onwards, once you do the coding, once you do the check-in, this unit testing, this going live to the UAT, ये पूरा जो है बीच का ये pipeline, I don't know, इसको कैसा बनाऊँ, this whole thing, right? This pipeline, you will build using this pipeline, right? And then yes, ये इधर भी सब है, all this is there. They will log in back to the Azure boards, right? So this is the pipeline, and this pipeline will run inside an agent. ये जो pipeline है, it runs inside an agent. And where does the agent come from? The agent comes from the agent pool. In the project setting, if you remember, when you clicked on it, there was an agent, a machine, an agent pool, right? And what are these small things out here? These small things out here, internally, it is nothing but it is a step. And in the step, we had two kind of a task. We have two kind of step. One was a task. What was this task? This task was nothing but Azure DevOps ka ready-made task, VS build and so on. Other, what you can do, you can create a script if you want to write a command line, right? Remember, this thing is very complicated. This hierarchy is not so easy what you think, right? Actually, the hierarchy is, there is a job, there is a step, there is a task, and there is a subtask. तो बहुत कुछ है वहाँ पे. But so one lecture I will dedicate of this hierarchy out here, right? And remember one more important thing. This will be taking in one of the lectures, right? This pipeline, for example, let us say you have an Angular build and you have a .NET build. Now, Angular build or the React build, JavaScript build can run separately, and the .NET build can run separately. So what you can do is really, in the pipeline, you can go and you can create parallel tasks. You can create parallel tasks and you can say, okay, and you can create two agents. ऐसे फिर आप बोल सकते हो, you can say, अच्छा, in this machine, go and run the Angular build, and in this machine, go and run the MVC build. This is called as parallel builds in agents in Azure DevOps. This demo also we will do, because I think when you're doing a bigger build out there, somebody would be doing ASP.NET build, and then another one parallel, you can do the Angular build, and then somebody would like to go and create the database, run some script, load some batch files and do something, right? And all of these tasks don't overlap with each other, so they can be run separately, right? So definitely this thing we will do out there, right? Okay, so this is the diagram out here. Now I'll go to questions. Yes, what I can do is I can stop this share. I can pause this share out here. And chalo, let us, so I've stopped the share out there. Let us go and see the questions. I'll take up the questions. First thing from internally, let me stop share out here, right? And let me take up questions, right? Okay. YAML, yeah, and another markup language. And there was another thing again. It was uska ek aur naam hai. I forgot the name, right? So yes. Hang on. Yes, now let us look at questions, guys. Any queries, please put down. We have 10-15 minutes more, but I think I would like to take up questions more, right? Yes. Okay. Rather than installing steps like install node, and can we create a container? Okay, so okay, let me take up one question out here, right? Yet another markup language, and yes, yeah, and another markup language. Yeah, okay, whatever it is, right? Yeah, my camera is off here because my camera of my YouTube is on. What this mean that I can make my machine as my agent? So the question here is that what does it mean that I can make my machine as my agent? See, my when I say that making the machine as your agent means that basically your machine you will create as a machine, and in that the get latest will happen, in that the build will happen, because see the machine which is now you are using is belonging to Azure, so they will bill you, right? So that your machine, Chandan, means that your PC, your computer, right? So do we have to memorize? No, you don't have to memorize the steps, Nishant. You have to go there. So guys, don't try to memorize any kind of step. There is no point, right? So very quickly, what I want to say here, take a minute. So okay, hang on. So don't try to memorize steps. So what I want to say is, okay, must be I have to share. Oh gosh. Uh, so memorize steps. See, you don't have to memorize steps. Remember, when you go to the pipeline out here, so when you go to the pipeline, I'll keep my computer on, right? When you go to the pipeline out here, can everyone see my? Let me see. Okay, my share is not on. Okay. Questpond support, please see that, when you are making this video live on YouTube, the Teams thing should not be seen online now. Just make that very sure, because many people's name will be exposed, which I don't want, right? So see, we don't have to memorize anything. What you have to do out here is, when you go out here, very simple. So when I click on edit, यहाँ पे, you have to just search here. For example, what do you want? You want to do unit test. So search karo. Don't try to memorize steps, and then start filling the property window, and then start filling the property window. So if I go here, if I say unit, so this is the VSTS unit test. उसको click किया तो ये तुमको अच्छा drop down दे देता है. You can see all the things out here. Start filling it. See, like, search folder, what you want to exclude from the test case, right? You want to test the assemblies, or you want to run the plan. So fill the steps, add it, and once you add here, it just comes out here like a tuck. Definitely test will happen after the build. Just make sure that you don't do illogical things like run the test before the build, right? So if I go out here and if I say add, and then, right? So you don't have to memorize it, or you'll say, okay, I want to go and archive. Okay, archive. You want to go and do a replace. Take a replace. Kuch hai, replace. Replace means, let us say you have a connection string which is localhost. You want to replace it with connection string which is live, or must be something else, right? Over here, let us say I want to create an IIS directory. I want to go and run an SQL script, SQL server pay, you want to deploy script, right? So don't try to buy at anything, and if you have some command line, you will use script. If you have some command line, you will write script. Okay, that's what it is. Okay. So any other questions here? Yes. Any other queries? Let me see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me go to, where is my chat window here? I've just stopped online. No, you don't have to install .NET SDK. वो सब कर लेगा Ravindra. You don't have to do anything. Once you take up a task, so there's a question here. Once you take up a task, you don't have to do anything one of that. Okay. I'll come to questions. A lot of questions are here. Okay, let me take up questions. Okay, very good. Okay, so the question here from Nishant is that, so can't we just go and create an image and take that image and do it? Why not? But again, for that image, you have to do some go live, isn't it? Like, let's say, so question from, I think, from one of our friends is that, Basically, can't we go and just create an image out there and not do all of these steps, right? See, but there are many cases out there where you have to do the steps, where you have to do the step. For example, you want to say, I want to go and do a build by using x64. And then you'll say, I want to go and do a build by using X something else, some other x86. Or I will say, I want to do a build using Linux. And then I have to do a build using this. So for that, then how do you do it, right? So definitely there are many situations where you want to do a build, you want to run the unit test case, right? See, a build is a build. An image means it's a final product. So yes, you can use an image. Why not? You can use an image and start creating the IIS and all that. Why not? Yes, right. But I'm talking about the build. I hope I'm able to clarify it. Build means it is not the final thing. People have made changes, and then as soon as you make a change, you want to do a build, do a unit test case, and so on. Image is a final thing. Yeah, so Chinmay, so this will take in the next class. So the question here is that, sir, in one of the classes you explained very in-depth the structure. So that thing we'll do in the next class. Also, what you can do, guys, very quickly, in case if I know internally people have access to Azure, right? So what you can do is, यहाँ पे, go through this small video which I've created, the last one which I've created. This is the parameter. There is one lab which I dedicated to jobs and all. So if you go to that thing now, I've explained the jobs, I've explained the task, I've explained the steps, I've explained the command line and everything, right? We'll do that in one of the class. 1 hour I'll dedicate for that. Angular.me can be run, but whatever steps present in .NET will execute one by one. Absolutely. See, some of the steps you can't do parallelly, right? For example, you cannot do get latest and build .NET parallelly. So yes, those will run sequentially. But what I'm saying is that definitely if you want to expedite the builds, let us say that you are in a development mode, right? In development mode, you have to check in and run test case run, check in and run test case run, right? Now, in that case, definitely you want that thing should be a little bit faster. So yes, the steps of the .NET will run sequentially. The steps of the Angular will run sequentially, but the whole Angular and .NET you can run parallelly if you want it. No, you don't have to use any Azure VM. So question here is that, hello, sir, for agents, do we need any Azure VM or app service? No, you don't have to do that. That is already a part of that whole thing. So you don't have to do those things. You don't have to. The machine ऊपर से ही है, Shyam. The machine is from online only. It is given by them. It has nothing. It is an empty machine. It's an empty machine. That's why they install NuGet. That's why they install Node, right? Azure portal. So yes, it is from Azure Cloud. Is this possible to make my machine to you? Absolutely. So Chandan, that is what tomorrow's demo is. You can make your machine as your agent, and that is what tomorrow's demo will do, right? Okay. So what is so the question for Arnav here, sir? So please explain. Let me tell me the steps. Start with Azure DevOps. See, Docker and Kubernetes has nothing to do with DevOps. डॉकर और कुबरनेट्स का पता नहीं, लोग ना सब मिक्सअप कर देते हैं, मतलब मशीन लर्निंग एआई एमएल एकदम डेवऑप्स बिकॉज एकदम कुबरनेटिस नो, like DevOps means automation of the build. Now Kubernetes and this Docker, yes, you can use in DevOps if you want, but not needed, right? Docker is a containerization. It is for containers. We'll do that later on. So you can do Azure DevOps separately, and you can do Docker learning separately. You can do it separately. Start with Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps is hot in the market. DevOps बोलते ही पता नहीं क्या होता है, salary double हो जाता है. So do DevOps little bit. Yep. But they are different. In pipeline, can we include tasks to create new repository in IIS? In IIS, how you can create repository? In IIS, you can create an application. Ramzan sir, IIS में virtual directory बनाओगे, right? That you can do. But I don't know, in IIS, you cannot create a repository. Sir, can we create YAML file running? Absolutely. No. Can we create YAML? Amit, can we create a YAML file for SQL Server? No. Inside the YAML, there will be a task of SQL Server. Please understand it. ये थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो रहा है यहाँ. See, what I want to say is, just let me share. I think inside the, look at this. Abhi SQL karna hai, right? Let's say I want to create an IIS. Let's say SQL. So you can see there's a task here, SQL Server deploy. You will add the script. यहाँ पे you will say this is my SQL script file. कुछ file का नाम दोगे, you will add it, and it will run inside whatever is your server name, etc. Right? So, answering your question, please note that it is not, it will not be, the YAML will not do it. One of the steps of the YAML will do it. In YAML, we have added script to install NuGet. This is required first time if I want to update code and script. That will happen automatically. Very good question from Hari here. So this NuGet will get installed again and again. Nahi. Remember, what they do is from the pool, they pick up the agent. If you're running the build again and again, right, he will use the same agent. And if NuGet is already installed, if node is already installed, he will not install it again. Itna un log karke rakha hua hai. Okay? Chalo. Okay. Also, let me take up some questions from YouTube as well. Sorry, I was taking some questions here. I'm so sorry. Let me go back to YouTube. For Sitecore project, we need to install Sitecore on DevOps or it will manage automatically. Very good question from Sonali here. See now, whenever you are doing something very specific, even I don't know. Sitecore is, I think, completely .NET code, right? So must be the build we can do manually. Build we can do through DevOps. I think the complete Sitecore is nothing but it's a CMS, right? And that CMS is made in .NET. So I think whatever holds true for our .NET project also holds for Sitecore. But now going and making the Sitecore live into Sitecore, we have to see if there is a task or not. If there is no task, then is there a command line or not, right? So I think the build of the Sitecore can be done by using Azure DevOps. Hey, where does the need of Docker arise in whole CI/CD? It is not needed, Akhil. Ye pata nahi log, see, in the resume, in this HR people, they write Azure DevOps, CI/CD, Docker, Kubernetes. Docker and Kubernetes are not needed in CI/CD. You can create a Docker in CI/CD. You can do that if you want it, but it is not needed as such. Please understand it. But yes, what happens now, as one of our friends said, why do we have to do a build, right? Why can't I just have an image and that image I can make live in Docker? Yeah, then that task you can do in your Go Live or in your UAT, you can do that task, right? But as such, you don't need Docker into build and etc. Is Azure DevOps is chargeable like Azure Portal? So Creative Pixel, a good name you have, Creative Pixels 13, right? So is Azure DevOps is chargeable like Azure Portal? See, Azure Portal, Azure DevOps is not chargeable. The agents are chargeable. The agents are chargeable. So what you can do is that tomorrow's lesson is, that is what the tomorrow's lesson is. We will make our computer as an agent and we will run it. So free ho jayega. Okay? Now I don't know ahead they can charge or not. Is there any requirement of VM creation? No, you don't need any VM to be created. One is you can use the Azure DevOps VM that is already there. See, there is no need of VM here. You need an empty machine. So a lightweight machine they have already given. Okay. Right. Let me see some other questions out here. We added script to install agents and so on. Okay. So I think, guys, that's the end of today's session. I hope everybody has enjoyed the session. I will just flash that last thing, that last diagram, so that sote upload Azure DevOps, you can look into, right? A very shabby diagram this is, but I'm sure that it will be very helpful, right? So guys, that brings us to the end of the training. Again, like, people who are live on YouTube, if you want to attend tomorrow's training also, only tomorrow's training, aage ka sab training is not free, but tomorrow's training, where actually I will be showing how to make in live in IIS, you can please attend that. Yes. Chalo. So that brings us to the end of the session, but I'll take some question from internally. Yes. Yeah. Chandan, tell me. Yeah. Chandan ka question. You want to ask something, Chandan? Yes. Any questions here, guys? If any questions, if no questions, then we can end this class out here. Chalo. Must be we can take more 5 minutes if there are any questions. Yes. So how can we do ASP.NET web form build? हाँ, आप ASP.NET web form build कर सकते हो. You can. Can we do VB6 build? Yeah, VB6 also you can do a build. See, if you're doing a VB6 build, that means that now we are talking about command line. As soon as you are going into custom builds, that means you are going into command line. Please understand. Can I do a React build? हाँ भाई, command line. You have to go into command line. Okay. Chalo guys, thank you very much. And let us meet tomorrow 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And tomorrow's session, this is my goal. Very quickly, let me just show it here. So my goal tomorrow is, we will go and we will check in the ASP.NET Core application. Today we did not do it. We will create an agent, an offline agent, and this agent will go and create a build into IIS, and it will go and make the project live. And we'll do a full CI/CD. मतलब क्या? यहाँ से code change किया, the build starts and IIS will refresh. So that kind of a thing we'll do. I don't know if this will happen tomorrow. We'll finish this practical or day after or the next lecture. I don't know, but we'll definitely tomorrow we'll at least do the build by using local agent, right? So guys, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Yes. Thank you.